Welcome to our program, Ms. June Ranson, Chair of the New Zealand Association for Migration and Investment, also the Managing Director of Woburn International. Good afternoon from Manila, ma'am. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Thelma.
Hi. Oh, it's good to see you. Now I can see you. What do you think awaits the migrant workers as New Zealand is now slowly opening up its economy after the lockdown?
Look, the Filipino migrants are going to be needed because you provide the backbone to New Zealand. And the migrants have been here for a long time, and the big concerns that have in fact emerged over the years have in fact that it's taking away houses, and that's been all due to the lack of planning on behalf of our government. But migrants, Filipinos, have got a very good reputation in this country for being hard workers. But there will be casualties for migrants as we come out of this pandemic. And why I'm saying that is that New Zealand residents and New Zealand citizens must come first in the labour market.
So the New Zealand government, as you are saying now, is forecasting a high unemployment rate due to the lockdown.
Yes.
So what will happen to the migrant workers, as you said, as unemployed New Zealanders, of course, will be prioritized in the hiring during this time?
Look, the type of people Filipinos come into this country, we've got some highly skilled Filipino people. Now, and you've also got those that fill very important roles, especially in the hospitality, and also in the rest homes, just to name just a couple there. Now, it all depends just how tough our government is going to be on the New Zealanders who are in fact going to be unemployed. And you see many jobs New Zealanders have in the past not been prepared to undertake. Now, the people from the Philippines are very flexible, they work long hours, and they, as I said before, they are good workers. But we've got to see what happens with regard to the unemployment numbers and what these people will undertake. Now, if they have in fact got current work visas, they will be okay unless they have had issues with the job they've got the visa for. So if that employer has had to terminate the employment, then that migrant is going to need to look for another job. Now, our government is going to be fair to that migrant because it's no fault of theirs that they've suddenly found themselves unemployed. And they will be given a chance to find an alternative position. But in the background, it is a New Zealander, New Zealand resident or citizen that will be placed first.
Okay, so the New Zealand border is still closed, ma'am, and many migrant workers who went back to their countries are unable to travel back to New Zealand. What will happen to them if their work visas expire along the way?
Well, that's a question that has not been answered as yet. There are a lot of migrants that are in that situation throughout the world, but from what we have been told to date, unfortunately, they're going to miss out.
So many migrant workers, including Filipinos, lost their jobs during this lockdown, and maybe many more will be laid off in the coming days. Can they simply apply and work for another employer? Is that good?
That's what is suggested, as much that they look for another job, which is similar to what they came in for, they need to have that employer to support them, and that employer has got to be able to prove that there are no New Zealand residents or citizens to undertake that job.
So what particular jobs then do you think are still promising for our migrant workers as New Zealand is reviving now its economy?
One of the things that's going to be of concern, I mean, it's not known yet. I mean, there's been a lot of New Zealanders that have returned to New Zealand, and then, of course, you got the unemployment group that have lost their jobs because businesses have shut down. What's going to happen is it's focusing on just what is going to be needed out there. It is an unknown, but we know that migrants are going to be needed, and if our government is taking a short-sighted view of this, things are going to become very sticky later on if we've lost those good migrants, because we're going to have to get other people to do the work.
So based on your... Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
Well, you say what type of jobs.
Yes.
Look, we've got some really highly skilled Filipino workers here that are completing the technical roles, as well as those that work in the aged care sector. And the nurses have got such brilliant reputations. And New Zealand's not going to be wanting to just move these people on. If they've got visas now, they'll be okay. It's just when they come to expire, or if they've lost their jobs, where the concerns will lie.
So based on your observation, ma'am, how do you find, so far, Filipino migrant workers there in New Zealand?
Oh, they're good. They're excellent. Look, there's only one criticism. I have a lot to do with Filipino workers, and they are very loyal. They're very loyal to their employer. But that loyalty can be to their detriment.
Oh.
They don't really look after themselves, because a number I have spoken to, and I have told them that should they want a future in this country, they needed to find another job. And they just seem to not want to do that. But look, they've got a very good reputation as very good workers.
Thank you for that, ma'am. Yes, we are known for being loyal. And on a personal note, ma'am, I just want to ask how you are coping with all this.
Well, I wear a number of different hats, okay?
Yes.
And I am a licensed immigration advisor appointed by the New Zealand government. And I also am a director of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And also actively involved both with government and the national headquarters of Immigration New Zealand. So I am very busy. But it's very much focused on the immigration side of looking after the migrants we have here in New Zealand now. So I suggest, because this is challenging times, if I can answer any questions for the Filipinos who are in New Zealand, please let them get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to talk to them.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Any positive takeaway from this? Your message, your last message for us, everybody watching you right now?
I say, don't give up. You need a lot of patience, and you've just got to just work this through to see what happens. It's going to take time because, look, there's not a lot of answers that can be given to a lot of your concerns. I mean, we're in unprecedented times, and new changes are going to be made. We have our new an amendment bill that's going through Parliament, but it is aimed at not disadvantaging migrants. And there are safeguards in there, so don't give up hope. And as I said, there will be casualties, but don't give up hope.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that message. It's very uplifting, giving us hope for everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Stay healthy and stay safe, ma'am.
My pleasure.